I just bought this 2010 Polaris Sportsman 500 for 300 bucks. Now, the guy I bought it from said all it needs is a starter. If you've been on Marketplace, you know how that is. There's a good chance that it probably needs something else. Not to mention, this is really weird. So I get there, he said he can show me that it turns over. So I'm assuming it had a recoil on it. I completely forgot they're blocked off. No pull start. So he's like, oh, it turns over. You could do it from here. I had power yesterday. It does have a new battery on it. That's a 2 of 25. Interesting. Now we go out, no power. Oh, up there. All right. I actually didn't look to see how many hours this thing had. Odometer, 11,796. Wow, I probably should have checked that. That's a bit more than I want to mess with. No fuel. Completely bone dry. Hours, let's see. Come on, tell me the hours. 1,694 hours. That's gonna hurt the resale value. Now I bought this one because it's red. The red ones seem to do better. Oh, look at that fancy light bar on the front of it. Oh my God, that is so ragged out. I'm so glad. The bright colors seem to do better. And if you didn't see the previous video where I had the Ozarks that I got for free, of the two of them, the red one that I was gonna swap to green plastics. I was still waiting on a carburetor to come in, but I threw it on Marketplace anyways. Sold it for more than the yellow one too. It's ridiculous. Anyway, so on this thing, he said, hey, I can show you it turns over. Cool. Now I drove about 2 hours to go get it, and then probably another 3 hours home because of where I was at. And that is not a good thing right there. You see that? It's just trash. All of it. Trash. He said he broke a bolt off in the starter, and that's why it don't work anymore. Although that's not how it works. Anyway, you can see down there, there should be another bolt right there. Right there. And it's gone. So he probably broke one of the mounting bolts off. As many hours this has on it, I'm not gonna stress trying to get that in there. As we were loaded up, then did the deal, you know, it's complete. It's a 2010, it's worth 300 bucks. No, hopefully I don't have to do anything major to fix this. As we're loading it up, he tells me, oh, it's gonna need a spark plug. The most random thing that it could need, just gonna need a spark plug. Whatever. I mean, this thing still has an OEM carb on it, which, if you're familiar with these Polarises, there are two things that are just a pain in the ass to deal with on all of them. Non-OEM carbs and Chinese ignitions. I have a good feeling this has no spark, because check this out. That starter doesn't sound good, but it's definitely turning over. I mean, I have a whole stack of starters. I'm not stressing the starter. Now in the photos, I saw he had all the plastics and everything off in here. From what I can tell, it looks like almost everything's zip tied on. It looks like this thing's been thrown together for me right before I got there. Because the carb's not even, see, it's not mounted on there even a little bit. Anyway, he claimed he rode this. It has a spark plug in it. Oh yeah, because you can't get that boot there like that. He claims he rode this. I got a feeling it's got no spark. Let's I'm gonna stick that on there. Let's see if I feel like it's got enough compression around it. I think that needs a cam. I bet that needs a cam. When you're turning it over, it feels funky. It's like it's not spitting it all out. That's not a big deal because I actually haven't had a cam. Cam or something to do a timing jump. As I got my hand over the intake, I can feel it sucking in, but also pushing back out. Same thing with the exhaust. So it's possible it's got bent valves. I guess we'll take it off and look see what's up underneath there, and go from there. He's got these nice little locks. He's like, they come with it. Brakes locks. I don't know. Those are gonna sound stupid riding down the road, so they won't be going back on it. He said they were to lock his guns in there, just in case somebody stole them. Now I bought this from the deep backwoods of Arkansas. I think it's got good bones. I know a lot of y'all hate the Polaris. Oh, these things are so easy to work on. The dude was originally asking $500 for this thing, and so I was I'll go get it. It was also Mother's Day. I had other stuff to do, and so I offered him $300. He responded back $350. And I ain't gonna lie, I did what any smart man would do. I straight up ghosted him. I'm just kidding. I didn't respond back, because honestly I really didn't feel like going to get him to $350. I didn't want to. You know, it's a risk. Just with the pictures that were on there. So a couple hours go by. We go out and do some stuff, and I'm sitting in Texarkana, Texas, eating my lunch. He texts me back, hey, if you'll come for $300, you can have it today. Or if you'll come today, you can have it for $300. I don't feel like making the trip, buddy. Because I don't have ramps for my truck. I need to buy some. I was like, man, I don't feel like it. And I was like, if you got ramps, he's like, I got a way to load it. I'm like, all right, I'll get it. He's like, I'll do 500 if you get both. Now, I remember him, I did see that he had another one posted, like it was something I wasn't real interested in. It turned out it was a Suzuki Eiger. Oh, what the hell's going on here? This is a fuel injected tank. This is actually not the first time I've seen a fuel pump like this on a carb unit. Huh. I wonder if it should have it. And man, I hope y'all can hear me pretty clearly. I'm gonna have to buy a whole new mic. My mic got broken. I bought a new piece, and well, we're still waiting on it. Anyway, so he pops out and says, "Hey, you want to check out this other one while you're here?" Like, of course I do. If it's a good deal, you know, I'm interested. So I take a look at it. Man, he's trying to tell me that this thing, and I hate that when someone tries to like blatantly lie to you, and you know they're lying to you. This right here, I'm pretty confident he knew there was more wrong with it than it needs at the starter. Obviously, I knew that. I was aware of that. I was like, if I get lucky, maybe he's honest, but he's probably not. I go to pull start. He said it needed a starter relay because it just clicked, that eager. It needed some wheels, and there was something else that was non-major. Maybe like a carburetor, carb cleaner, or something. I go to pull it and it's locked smooth up. And I'm like, hey man, this doesn't need what you said it needs. This is locked up. Don't get me wrong, if I had my trailer, I'd have probably lowballed him down to like $50 for it. At $50, I don't care. It's just $50. Needless to say, I did not buy the other one. I don't know, I guess I've been in this industry long enough to... It's pretty easy to judge if somebody's lying to me or not. Some of these folks can be pretty convincing, and honestly, I feel for the people that get taken. Does anybody else use that method when the bolt gets stuck? You throw it at the ground. Just throw the socket and the bolt to the ground and it'll come out. Now these Polarises were very, very common 500s for cam failure. I had a Ranger a while back that was jumping this cam chain up all around. What did I do with the key? Oh, over here in the brakes lock. Nice. See that lobe in the middle is what wears out. bad. Yeah, that bothered me. Normally there's oil going all down that exhaust. Now it's definitely lubing the cam. Let's see. I think they call this like a dry sump system or something. Ugh, that looks terrible. Going for full coolant. Interesting. I guess we should check if we got spark. What's got me curious though is if it'll start with some action. So I don't know if I have it. Ugh, look at that plug. It's not even NGK. Look at that. That is nasty. What brand is this thing? Bosch? I don't know. That's all burned. Let me see if I got a plug. I don't have a plug for this unit. Let's check if it's got spark anyways. Let's see. They do. Now, I guess we'll put that nasty plug in there. And, let's see. This dude was in a hurry for me to get out of here with this unit. That makes sense why. I kind of think that was a little milky. You know what I mean? Well, just a little bit milky. Let's just see. And I'm gonna leave that valve cover off and see if it spits stuff out. We're just gonna rig this on. Just to see if she'll run. I see what's weird is like there's a plug for that fuel pump. There is not a plug over here. There's no plugs for a throttle body or anything like that. And maybe that's just something I didn't know they had. You know, because the other one that I had that had it, it was used for a donor engine. And a side-by-side. I didn't fix it. All right, let's see what that does. Give that a second to put some fuel into the carb. It seems to be flowing in there nice and well. We're not dripping out the bottom or anything. Diaphragm appears to work. We got fuel in there, so let's try See how it's spit? I don't know if y'all can see that, but you see how it's spitting fuel back out? Timing is wrong, or it's got a bent valve or something. It says pumping oil out, so the oil pump's not fried. Well, that's good news. It does not look like he's had the stator cover off. I wonder why he took the starter off to begin with. That doesn't make any sense. The timing chain seems nice and tight. I guess that's next step. We should have that whole side. He's had this whole side off. Did not have that side off. You know, it just dawned on me, what if the valves are just out of spec that far? We just have to get it top dead center. This doesn't look ghetto repair, but for those of you up north, is these pieces right here for a plow? I have one on both sides, and it's like a bolt-on piece, but welded on. Huh, never seen that. We don't have a need to plow snow down here. All right, so we're gonna use this to turn it over to top dead center. What I do is look at the piston. Something's out of whack. Now on these cams on the Polaris, you got these two bolts. You want those two dots right there on that cam facing straight up and down. There's a way that like these two silver, I mean, you can't see it. There's two of them back to back. Two silver cam chain links, you can get it to where when you put it all together, it goes together. But right here, theoretically, should be top dead center. The piston, yeah, I can't show you that. the piston's at the top. You can see it with your eyes, you can't see it with your phone. But you should have 0.006 or something like that right there. See that? Nothing. And we got just a little bit on that side. So I'm gonna measure up the valve spec and see what happens. Now I was correct. It is 0.005, 006. I was incorrect about what size that nut was. It is an American size, so I don't know. I got it as a 9 right here, but I didn't think about that. Make sure the cam's in the right spot. Looks like it. Looks like they were just a little tight. Now these ones kind of can be a pain. I wish they would not do the square tip. And Polaris probably has a special tool for it. What I do is I'll move them, set it with my fingers, and you get your slight little drag. Hold it still. Get that nut all the way down. I like to use needle nose pliers. And I moved it. And you know about where it is. These are much more forgiving than like a dirt bike, you know, stuff you gotta shim with buckets. I don't know, I feel like these are just easier to mess with. Now one thing that would worry me is like the cam chain guide on the bottom being a problem. The sprocket, cam chain sprocket. Let's hope that's not it. And you always double check afterwards to make sure you got the right spec. Because when you tighten this down, if you don't hold both of them, I don't hold that top part, it moves. Now we're gonna check the exhaust side. I feel all right. I'll try to start this thing again. See what happens. Like I said, we can do it with that valve cover off. Worst case, we lose a little bit of oil. It's not a big deal. And that is the big plus side to working for myself, is no one can tell me what to do. I get to work on four-wheelers in here. I get to ride four-wheelers. I get to go out and buy four-wheelers. And no one tells me what to do. Is there some in there? Probably enough to start her. Don't backfire. Please don't backfire. The timing doesn't feel so off this time. And here's another word to the wise, like, always pay attention to what you're doing, because, you know, if you're doing something and kind of going off what the last guy had on here, you never really know what they were doing, or if they knew what they were doing. It just dawned on me, because, like, oh, man, that thing sure did flood out this carb fast. And it didn't leak nothing out the bottom, didn't leak out the carb like it was. He had the fuel hooked up here. This is a vacuum port. Sometimes I do dumb stuff. Whoops. At least I'm man enough to admit it. Dang it, I need a cover. Anyway, so I put the fuel in that side. Yeah, that's not gonna run like that. This is not gonna run right. I got a big box of these valve vacuum caps. Just for this purpose, because they seem to always be missing. Put that on it. Dang it! To the abyss. Didn't even land underneath it. Let's go grab another one. I hate these things. These ones, they're not very good. So, like, I don't care about wasting them. So that vacuum I was capping off is for It's the vacuum. Golly, that carb does not want to go on there. If you have the pneumatic fuel pump, which this doesn't have. Wait, it does. It does have it. I'm gonna have to spend some time looking into this because it's got the pneumatic fuel pump over there, but it's also got a fuel pump unit right here. I wish I was good enough with electronics to just be able to pull up the last one that I had. Because I would say this is just rigged up, except for the other one I had was close to the same year. God, I wish I could look that up. Close to the same year, and it had the exact same setup. Like, I probably have that exact same fuel tank sitting out there. I'm gonna try some fuel in the carb the right way this time. Let's see what interesting. We're dumping fuel at the bottom of that carb this time. That starter does not sound all that great. That's kind of got me wondering if I should swap it out. It's not spinning over quite as fast as it should. You know, while that plugs out, I'm going to pull this. Not pull this. I'm going to run a compression test and see what we're looking like compression wise. Doesn't hurt. Doesn't take much extra effort. That's not much. It's not like that battery's dying. Hold on. Let me just jump this. See if this battery's dying on here. It turns over any faster like this. Is it already? That's looking like low compression. I mean, because that says what? 50? That's not even that. 40. 40 psi. Me holding that thing wide open. PSI. I'd say that starter does sound terrible. I'm gonna swap it out because it takes all of 5 minutes. Maybe 10 for me. 10 minutes for me. Gotta pop this clutch off, pop that clutch off, take the belt off, take that inner clutch cover off, take this little nut off of there. Oh. That's not good. So the starter needs replaced regardless. All right, so starter's replaced, and as I was, sitting there replacing it, thought to myself, honestly, it's probably gonna need a top end. This air box doesn't look like it's had an air filter in it in a long time. That means they're running this thing straight beans, straight beans. No air filter, and people wonder why they don't have nice stuff. Air filters are cheap. I mean, even using the cheap Amazon filters is better than using nothing and never doing any kind of maintenance to your unit. Anyway, so I got to thinking about it like, this is probably, that's why the fuel in the bottom end is watered down. It's probably from blow by, getting dirt in the piston rings, probably destroyed the cylinder walls. It's probably not going to have enough compression to run. But let's try it anyways. Don't let me be a downer. We got that up to 60 PSI. I can't tell if this is opening up all the way or not. Yeah, it's like it's all the way open. Oh, this isn't closing. Ew. Something's sticking over here. Huh. Or in the carb. Let's run that compression test one more time. Now this has an auto decomp. And I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. I'm thinking we should be at 90. 70 might be enough to run, but can you hear how much better it's turning over now? Like it's doing something. So we're gonna pop. There's dirt and all sorts of stuff in there. All of my compression history now. Yeah. We're gonna tear into that top end, I bet. Wonder if it's even worth it. I have a bunch of the parts for this, so should be worthwhile. Now we need to I'm not running it to hour it's an hour round trip for me to go get another spark plug, so we're gonna try out the old plug. See what it does. There's so much trash on top of that piston. And it kind of looked like it, and it kind of was in denial. And then when that came back out just then, there's shit all over the bottom of it. I just want to see if it starts. And just a fair warning, if it does start up, there isn't an exhaust on this thing. So it's going to get loud. It's going to get real loud. So I'm confused now because I looked it up just to double check. And turns out the compression on these with the decompression ratio and decompression lever, you're looking at, you have to have a minimum of 60 PSI, which we obviously have. So I'm kind of thinking that plug just needs to get replaced because it's in such rough shape. I'm gonna have to break down and go drive 30 minutes across town to go get a spark plug. And it's pull aside to living in the middle of nowhere. Every time I buy plugs, extra plugs for these, I burn through them. All right, I got the plug. And it's an E3 spark plug. It's a little different than what I normally buy. I prefer the NGKs, but the guy at O'Reilly's said, hey, we ain't got them. Here's what I do got. Let me know what you think. Guy at O'Reilly's is a pretty trustworthy dude. He said he used these. Something to do with the way that is on there. The way it's all around will basically prevent it from being able to foul out at all. And I'm like, interesting. So I'll probably end up testing that one day when I have a Honda that smokes real bad. Let's try it again. That's a first for me. This thing's saying hot. Check engine and flashing. Well, the engine's definitely not hot. So the dude said he put this on here, and I'm looking over here kind of like, all right, what we got here? That for real looks like they cut it out to tap this little shitty light bar pod in. The level of shit people will do. Let's see. Hot. Yeah, I've never seen it say that. That's interesting. Nothing's hot. And the starter's not even hot. So I have one last attempt before I call it quits and I tear the top end down. Because technically, according to the manual, this should run. I don't think it's going to. Be honest with you. What'd I do with the spark plug socket? Come on, man. Anyway, no, it's right here in front of my face. I was gonna stick some oil in there. Instead, I stuck some transmission fluid in it. And we're gonna try with some go-go juice. I put that old plug in there. Let that one get all nasty. Interesting. There's stuff coming out the crankcase vent now. We're gonna try with the old plug, just cause I can. I'll make sure we get that in. You know what? It may say that we're good enough with that 60 PSI. I don't think that's true. I mean, cause like, as you could see that, I don't know if we can see it in the video. Obviously, I don't know, cause I'm on the other side over here. But you're getting so much blow by past that piston into the crankcase. That's gonna be stacking up inside of the, right now. I just think we're just gonna have to tear this top end down. I tried that for way longer than I should have. Well, the verdict is in, got it all apart, and yeah. I don't know how we had the compression we did. Every one of these rings is seized. Just seized up in there. And you know what causes this? Running it without an air filter. Stop messing around and running your stuff without air filters. They're cheap. Buy the Amazon ones. Just do something. Age and mileage and stuff like that, they do play a factor, but you can get a lot more out of something that you change the filters on than something you don't. Well, here's our cylinder. See, it's got spots in it and stuff. I've never seen this, like if it rusts. So this sat parked for a while, and this dude probably bought this just to fix it and resell it, but he's not as good at this, or knows less than he let on. The cylinder's probably trash. They're so cheap now. I'm not gonna have this board and all that. And so overall, I mean, it does need a lot. It needs a lot, but I actually happen to have a lot. So like the bent front bumper, the bent front end. I was looking at this as I was sitting here. As I was taking it apart, I looked down and I'm like, man, that's a hell of an exhaust. That's a hell of an angle right there for that thing. Huh. And I look at this one, it's straight, and I'm like, yeah, I thought so. That's what it should be. And then you look down there, that ball joint's like offset, and like, it's jacked up. So yeah. That's gonna have to be handled. Definitely looks like we're gonna need maybe a bearing or two. Oh, some screws. My kids will think that's cool. I hate those little trinket kits. But I've already got tires for it. I got a brand new set of tires. Sunif hooked the channel up, and I got these AO33s in a 25 by 12. These are like the most common size. Like most quads run 25, 8, 12 in the front. 25, I think it's a 10, 12 in the back. We've ran these in the past. I ran these on my wife's Rincon. We no longer have it, but they were great tires. And I have those on my daughter's Polaris Predator. No, it's an Outlaw. I keep wanting to call it a Predator 90, but it's an Outlaw 90. And they're a great tire on there. It's parked outside, so I can't show you that. You're talking cheapest bang for the buck, and I've literally never heard anyone say anything bad about them. So if you're looking for a set of tires, this sunif.com has a discount code with the ATV Hustle. I'll put that down here on the bottom. That'll save you 5% on a set of tires. And it helps the channel out. There, we get a little kickback from that. And it is much appreciated. They also sell them on Amazon, eBay, all that, you know, if you don't want to go through their website. Their website's still fast shipping. When those shipped out, it took them 3 days to get here. And I live in the middle of nowhere, so. We're gonna put those on this, because with all the work we're putting into this, it needs to come out nice. We're gonna get some parts ordered, and we'll get back to this one. All right, so we finally got some parts in, and well, yeah. I got the wheels and tires put on. This Sunif's mounted on here. Our factory wheels, nice and shiny. Smell like a brand new set of tires over here. I don't know why I love the smell of new tires in the shop. They should make that as a, whatchamacallit? Air freshener. Anyway, so we got a long list of new parts. We got this plastic cover for the lower bumper piece because it was completely missing. We got a brand new seat. These have gone up now. I could have swore the last one of these I bought was like 60 bucks. Since that whole tariff thing, they've gone up. Is what it is. We got this little cover right here because we were missing it. The new front guard, because ours, I call it guard, it's the mount, because ours is bent. And I believe, if I remember right, this was the left side. Yeah, shifter's on the right side. So I have the right side and I needed the lift. It is a bit more scratched up than I wanted. But if I remember right, this one was unavailable. And all the other ones were like 150 bucks. So I think that was half that. Got some other new parts over here. This I already had, this new airbox, used airbox, whatever. We got the intake boot because the one that was on it was completely cracked. Pretty bad shape. This, I don't even remember what this boot goes to. I pulled this box off something else. But it's a good solid box, so. New intake boot. Anytime you're dealing with a bunch of carb issues with these, it's so convenient to just buy that boot because it's like 10 bucks and your carb goes right on. Super easy instead of fighting it, because the one that was on here has chunks taken out of it from somebody trying to get the carb on and off. We got us a new air filter, oil filter. Change the oil on that. I had to buy this as a 2 ball joint kit, but we got a ball joint with the tool because the one that is on there is bad, real bad. A Namura gasket kit. I won't use the niche gasket kit again. I rebuilt that motor and I put it together. They had machined the cylinder head gasket wrong. So when I fired it up, it sounded like it was knocking and it was hitting the piston. That's what it is. Ended up having to completely tear the top end of it down and redo. Well, I say that I had to remove the head gasket. And we got the new niche piston kit. These are pretty decent, especially for the price. I've got no beef with it. Nice, shiny piston. Got some new wheel bearings. If I remember correctly, I know for sure we needed the left rear and it was possibly one of the fronts. I'd rather just order them and have them and not need them than need them and not have them. It's a Polaris, so they'll get used. If it's a Polaris, it needs bearings and bushings. It always does. And we got a used cylinder with piston, although I'm gonna do a new piston in it. And this over here is new tie rod ends because ours are like a hot dog in a hallway. This was another used piece I had. This, I'm utilizing a bunch of used stuff that I had already because otherwise it's not even worth fixing. This front bumper piece that is super duper bent on that one. And this right here, entire front fascia, that is pretty beat up on this one and all janky. So I'm gonna replace all that because he had gave me one with it, but it's for a Sportsman 850. So we're gonna get this thing knocked out and go from there. I guess I should start with this stuff down here on the suspension. Maybe the rear. We'll start with the rear. Well, I thought I'd interrupt this beautiful time lapse I'm doing to give some idea and show what's going on with this thing, because it is going much worse than expected. So we were out here and I was gonna knock it out that night, but come to find out, I wanted to go ride. I'm just kidding, that's not the problem. But that was the fact. I did want to go ride. I was gonna knock it out that night so I could go ride Saturday morning. So I'd say screw it, and we went and rode anyways. And here is a clip of that, of me hammering down a few times on the old Outlander. Anyway, so the reason we couldn't wrap it up, so here's the old radiator. And as you could tell, this thing is beat. This is a radiator I had, and I'm pretty sure this is for a ETX 325, a 2013 model. Now these 11 to 14 Sportsman 500s can be weird, and it's only like one certain model. It's something to do with like when they came out with the 570 and they kept making these. They're the only ones that have these storage boxes. This storage box specifically. There's another style storage box, but it's not like this one. So this one's actually different. Parts can be harder and more expensive to come by for this. Anyway, I didn't know there was a difference in radiator, and I looked at it until we went to mount them up. And I noticed this one, as you can tell, this radiator, they're physically the same size. Inlet outlets are the same size. We're all good in that department, but our coolant temperature switch is not in that. I don't know where it was on the 325 ETX, but ordered another radiator and that's on its way. That should be in sometime today. That's basically what I've been waiting on. One other thing I did notice as I was swapping it out is the control arm on this looked so off. It wasn't bent, it was just off. And look at that. So that is parallel right there. The offset of them is different. It's weird. I think this one, judging by how thick that is from the early models, like the early 96, 97, 98 Sportsman 500s. Basically the first generation Sportsman 500s, because that would be the only control arm that I don't have out there. And all my other ones are just like this. So I gotta swap the whole arm out, no big deal. The ball joint wasn't near as bad as I thought it was. They destroyed these threads, so. But our front wheel bearing is toast. And I am gonna have to do front brake pads because these ones are gone. Fun stuff right there. Yeah, it's turned into just a massive, massive headache. And I'm glad I had a muffler, because that big gun that I didn't want to put back on it because I'd rather run it stock doesn't even go to this. The exhaust this came with. This, I believe, and I'm gonna have to look it up by that part number right there. I'm pretty sure this is Sportsman like 850, 550, where the exhaust is hanging on the back of it and runs horizontal with the rear rack. Fun stuff though. So that's all gonna go. And I was gonna order a new front bumper, because once I pulled it all off, this is the bumper that goes to this. You can see that there and that bracket up there. Well, this is from the 325 ETX that I was planning on putting on there. It's not the same. Couldn't tell that till it was off the unit that it wasn't the same at all. So unfortunately, that one's gonna have to go back on there, and we're gonna try to bend it back. Hopefully it works out. Like I said, hopefully. This quad has turned into something I shouldn't have fixed. It just needs too much, needed too much. At this point, we are too far in to make any sense to turn around now, so we might as well finish it, right? I got more money in parts than I do the unit. So we're gonna wrap this thing up and go from there. right, so this doesn't happen often, and I have not had this happen in a long time, but today it's happening. Abandoned ship on this project. There's too much. It's just one thing after another. I keep finding other issues, and we're not even very far into it. As of right now, the big thing that as I was putting this front end back together that I noticed, I didn't even finish putting that on there. Look at that. And if you notice, this shaft is spinning. So if I completely put this back together like it is, we're not gonna have four-wheel drive. You know, that's one thing, but it's like the issues are kind of stacking up. Another thing I noticed as I was standing here contemplating if I wanted to continue on with this project, kind of looks like that axle's wanting to pop out of there. I didn't notice that till just now, but this is broken. All of it's broken. Hey, I don't know how I missed that, but I mean, sometimes it's just like that. You find extra issues that you didn't expect to see coming. And that's what happened here. It is what it is. You know, it's not like this stuff's gonna go for waste. This will end up saving me money and time elsewhere. I'm gonna return what I can. And then I'm gonna start trying to track down some other sportsmen. There's some good stuff here that I can still, you know, between what I can sell, what I can do and all that, I can not be in the red on this project. I'm not gonna like do well on it, but there's no winning at this point. Like the only winning to begin with would have been when I picked it up to straight up part it out or not pick it up at all, which would have been the best call. I knew the guy was lying to me, and which was one thing, but I thought it was a no spark. Probably had parts to fix it. Would have been an easy fix. Is what it is. This though, I didn't expect all this. I really didn't expect to get this deep in it. You can paint a trash can, but it's still a trash can. And not to mention, I don't want to put all this together and feel like it's a piece of junk when I sell it to somebody else. Because like I was still having to figure out how I was going to deal with this rear rack because it's zip tied on, no big deal. I can still fix it, but and don't get me wrong, I can still fix the entire unit. Is it worth it? Not quite. I don't think so. Y'all let me know in the comments, would you continue? Would you continue with this? Especially considering it's not like I'm at like $500 or $600 in this thing. It's somewhere like $1,200 between what I paid for it and all of that. I just don't see the value here. Because I think right now, as it is, if I put the diff in there, this would be a $2,200 unit. That's a diff and a drive shaft. I found a few of those diffs. You can probably get one for around $350. That drive shaft, honestly, those ain't expensive. That's like probably $50. But that is if the splines on the shaft for the transmission aren't damaged, which usually they aren't. This isn't the first one I've seen. I've never seen one that flopped around that much on it, but I could probably get about 22 out of it like that. If it cleans up nice and it's not all ragged. If I just fixed it like it is, I think I'd struggle to get 1,500 out of it, honestly. And that's not to mention if I pull that drive shaft so that it's not able to even bind up or anything like that, that diff won't bind up internally and completely shut down the front end and prevent it from being functional. You win some, you lose some, and it looks like I am going to lose on this one. But I'll be able to get a lot of good parts out of this. I mean, this air box right here with that duct, I have to replace that on like almost every single Sportsman I touch. So that's not a big deal. You know, we had like $60 in mounting the wheels and tires or whatever it was. I'll be able to utilize those on another build and be able to utilize, you know, since they're Polaris wheels, I just go out, I can go find a Sportsman that needs some of the stuff that I have right here to make sense of it. Kind of like this front storage box. I don't know, I may save that for something. I might sell it, I don't know. These plastics on here, they're definitely worth some money. One of those side covers, Hopefully I can return one side, but the other side, yeah, it's worth like $130 on eBay, and I may just have to sell some stuff on eBay to make sense of this. I still didn't know if that sending unit worked. I was gonna have to get into it first, take the engine out, and I can take it and rebuild it and just find a Ranger so it can be drop-in ready, and y'all will have to stay tuned on one of the next ones, and we'll see. And this gauge right here, this might be the one they knocked off that ain't worth anything anymore. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start trying to find some Sportsmans, some Rangers, a couple things that need a couple of things that this has, so I can turn this net negative into a net positive, something that's functional money-wise. Because as of right now, we are not, not at all. It's a bummer, but I've had this happen before. I had a Shadow VTX years ago. I want to say it was a 1300. I'm pretty sure it was a VTX 1300. Might have been an 1800 besides. I bought it at a auction. It had been laid over. It wasn't real bad. So I sourced a tank, and if you know how much tanks cost, it's not cheap. I sourced a tank with fenders and everything, so it all matched, because the rear fender was bent and scraped, tank was scraped. I sourced a new foot peg. There was a couple things. I don't know, $1,800 in this unit, and I get it all together, fire it up, take it for a spin, and realize the frame was bent bad. I don't know how it was bent so bad. Like, I don't know how you wreck it like that and it's bent like that. I don't get it, but it was. Ended up having to part that one out. I don't know if I took a loss on it. Same thing with this. I doubt I'll take I'm losing hard on my time. Am I going to lose money? No. No, I still be able to profit off of it somehow.